Hi, everyone. My name is Jamie. Welcome to my podcast. And I'm a psychic, pet intuitive. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about today, what it's like being a pet intuitive, animal psychic, whatever you want to call it, what I've learned and picked up from doing various pet readings. And yeah, so first, how I got started. When I started to get into all of this psychic kind of stuff, doing readings on other people, it wasn't until 5 or 6 readings that people's cats, dogs, horses started to come into their reading when I was trying to talk about their life and some information from their spirit guides and some guidance and kind of things that I was like, okay, I think there's something going on here. I think that I'm tapping into another kind of ability. I did people, pets, and then people in spirit. So connecting to animals, what that's kind of like is when I am connecting to them, I can see them in my mind's eye. I can also feel sometimes their body sensations. I can feel what it's like to be them. If they're very lovey, if they're very smart, if they are more oblivious to things, if they are not the friendliest kind of animal in the world, if they are super spiritual, lifey, or just kind of a cat. And all cats, dogs, horses, they are all different. I've also read a hedgehog, guinea pigs, a lizard once, a praying mantis once, just for fun. A lion that made me a little bit sick, like nauseated, kind of sick, like tap out, mercy, kind of sick. And that might be most of it. I feel like I've connected to a few birds or parrots, but I can't really. Yes, I have, because I remember being like, your bird is so beautiful. Can I put him or her on my website? And I don't think that I actually did that. So more about what it's like connecting with your animals. When I see them in my mind's eye, before I really start doing the reading and everything that I pick up, I connect to your animal and I say, show me some things about your behavior. And they'll show me, for example, taking walks and then sitting, and then taking walks and then sitting. So I'll ask the owner, do they not love taking long walks? Because they're showing me that they'll be walking with you and then they'll sit. And the owner will say, yeah, laughing about it, that they have to pick them up and carry them sometimes. Or an animal will show me that they love getting cheese from the refrigerator, or they always have their kind of butt in there, and they love it when their owners kind of play with them, their hand kind of sliding across the carpet with them in front of their face. Animals, before I like get connected to make sure I'm good and connected to your specific animal, I'll ask, a few questions of, do they do this? They're showing me this. Do they do this? I'm seeing this. And that's a lot of fun to really see what's going on behind the scenes, get into your animal's kind of brain and all of the kind of unconditional love and everything is happy, happy, excitement kind of stuff. So being able to feel like what they're kind of like, that's my favorite part of, how your dog has the kind of like puppy dog eyes, or they're always kind of watching you, or when you're acting funny, they're kind of acting funny, or do you think that they're always listening to you? Do you feel that they're able to kind of understand you? Yes, they are, because they all have their own kind of personality, and us being the owners, or the loving kind of family member, whatever we want to call that, I think that it's super beautiful, and really, we don't give ourselves enough credit. We are all super, super intuitive. In my pet readings, especially the medical stuff, yeah, I'll tell you a lot of things that you might know, but it's mostly confirming a lot of things. So like, yeah, I knew that they were like that. I knew that they secretly love my husband. I really felt that that is their kind of personality, and they do really act that way. Your animals. Think of the example of when your animal is standing at the back door, you know if they need to go to the bathroom or you know if they just want to go and play outside. When your animal doesn't like the car ride, you know that it's because that they know that they're about to go to the vet or wherever. When your animal is acting funny, not eating, you know intuitively that there's something wrong with them. So that's where the kind of importance in my job, I feel, comes like into play. Yes, it's super fun doing pet readings, getting their personality, but let's check on their health if they're living to make sure that everything is really, really all good. And I do also connect to animals and spirit. And my focus when we're connecting to an animal and spirit is let's tell you from their perspective about their happy, happy life and that everything is okay and that they are super, super okay. So going back to pets who are living, everyone has their likes, their dislikes, their favorite kind of person, their favorite kind of activity. And something that I think is just a little bit interesting for dogs, a couple things. I guess I'll break up everybody just from what I've learned. Dogs are so picky sometimes when it comes to their toys. They'll tell me, I really like the nylon. I really like the rubber. I really like the squishy. I really like the foamy. I really like the cotton. I really like the stuffed animals. I really like the ropey kind of thing. Their teeth and their gums, they seem to prefer a different kind of texture. And for cats, about being picky, they can be super picky about their food. I want the tuna flavor. I want the pink kind. I want the crunchy kind. I don't want you to drown my food in water. I want the pate version of my wet food. I want crunchy stuff on top. I want you to mix everything together. I don't want to eat the same thing every day. And cats and dogs, mostly dogs, some of them are picky about their water. And for another strange but amazing intuitive reason, when I connect to animals and I say, they prefer their water cold, so maybe put in a little bit of ice cubes. They're actually complaining about the tap water. Feels like they would like filter water. They don't like this water bowl because their nose touches the bottom. It feels like they would prefer a bigger kind of water bowl or a deeper kind of water bowl. And 9 times out of 10, the owner kind of says, I feed them filtered water. I give them filtered water. I actually do have them drink out of a water kind of fountain bowl, or yeah, I do put their ice cubes in their water, or yeah, I just bought them a new kind of water bowl because I just intuitively felt that. So again, whatever you intuitively feel about your animal of at the grocery store, I feel like they would like this kind of treat, this kind of toy, this kind of food. Trust your gut, trust your intuition. Animals are so much more complex as an owner would probably understand than maybe we think sometimes. They are super duper connected to us and they can kind of feel what we're feeling in an empathic kind of way. I have a couple examples about this. So one time they had asked me, it's actually a family member of mine. They had asked me, can you help us out? Why does the cat, it keeps peeing. He keeps peeing on the carpet. He keeps peeing over here. And me being a cat owner most of my whole life, I know a little bit about why cats are using the bathroom. So I'll say those in case somebody didn't know. So sometimes it's their litter box that it's too smelly or it's too enclosed. So if you have a lid or some kind of covering over your cat litter box and they're not using it, then it just might be a little bit too stuffy for them. Sometimes their cat litter box can be too small. Sometimes they're not going to like the cat litter. Sometimes they're not going to like to be like in the corner or in this weird kind of area, like in the laundry room where there's like a crazy kind of loud washer and dryer in there. And sometimes it's their food because for whatever reason, when cats are drinking water, their body isn't able to super absorb most of that water. So that's why it's kind of important to make sure you're putting a little bit of that you have some wet food in your cat's diet. So that's because that's how they're going to absorb most of their water. So if they're dehydrated and they're peeing outside, that might mean that they have some kind of urinary infection and they're not using the litter box and they're not using their litter box because it's a little bit painful for them. So those are some things to look into or intuitively feel into or connect to animal or pet intuitive about if you're experiencing that. But for this particular instance, and it's only happened one time. This cat was peeing all over the house because they were kind of pissed. They wanted the owner's attention. And I told the person that your cat thinks that you're pregnant. Your cat thinks that there's a baby on the way. Your cat thinks that you guys are going to get rid of him. Your cat is just like feeling, and I don't know if he's making up these stories kind of going on. And the person didn't say anything to me. My family member, it's my cousin actually, they just said, oh, like, oh, okay. And so I was saying, so, the whole spiel of animals are super connected to us. What we're feeling, they can feel, and kind of maybe in conversation. I don't know if you guys have been talking about having any kids or made any kind of jokes of when we do have a kid that the cat's got to go. I just feel like your cat is catching on to something like that. So make sure that we're not having that. Make sure you communicate to your cat, and also when you're connecting to your cat, to tell them, hey, we're not pregnant, or when we do get pregnant, you're not going anywhere. We're not going to get rid of you. We're never going to get rid of you. We're going to have you forever and ever. And that feels why your cat is a little bit upset. Come to find out, a few weeks later, there was a pregnancy announcement on Facebook, and they were pregnant, and their cat knew it. And so when I say communicate and connect to your animal, what's like a fun little trick for me that I've heard that I tell other people to do is think of a thought in your head. And we're going to use the pregnancy one, for example, of we're not having a baby, and then attach an emotion to it. Like I picture like, when we're texting and things, we can heart something. I picture kind of putting a heart on that thought, and then we're going to telepathically send it over to your animal. So think of, we're not having a baby, you're not going anywhere, and then I love you so much, and send that over. So you can say, I would really prefer if you didn't pee outside of your litter box. I love you so much. They're going to kind of, because animals communicate more through emotions and thoughts and feelings, they're going to be able to understand you a little bit better because you had that emotion kind of attached to it. So try doing this for fun of, thinking not just, do you want a treat? Thinking, do you want a treat? I love you so much. Or just having like that excitement attached to that. It might take a little bit of practice because animals, if you can only imagine them being as kind of telepathic and connected to us as at all times, just because you're thinking, park, walk, do you want a treat in your head, they're not going to jump up and look at you because you have so many thoughts kind of going on 24/7. Your animal can kind of like pick and choose what they're going to pay attention to. So when you're kind of looking at your animal through their eyes, that's what I would say. Try that little trick to see if you guys can kind of get a little bit of communication or something fun going on there. So while we're talking about communication, let's talk about connecting to your animal on a deeper kind of level. And this might be a hit or miss for some of us, but because it takes a lot of rewiring our beliefs a bit of, that's not possible. I can't do that. I don't know anything about them. But when you are in a relaxed, kind of happy mind frame, try to connect to your animal. And how I show other people how to connect to their animals is think of your energy field, or your aura, your bubble, what you have going around you. And then kind of like visualize lifting this up, going into your animal, connecting to their bubble, their energy, their field that they have going on. And then try to piece together a little bit of, what do you feel about them? Do you feel a lot of love in their heart? Do you feel a little bit of anxiety? Do you feel super sleepy? Do you feel super happy? And then just taking that further, try doing that, practicing that to see what else you can find out about your pet. If they have any kind of favorites, any kind of likes, any kind of dislikes. And so talking more about that, animals' behavior and how they are so kind of connected to us. There are no coincidences from what I found out that you have your animal, that they came to you, that you found them, or that they kind of found you because we needed them and they needed us to help us grow so that we could help them kind of like grow, but really just like assist us. And it's almost like what I've tapped into recently is there were so many kind of spirit animals angels on the other side, just waiting to come into our lives, help us out, make us happy, and share all kinds of experiences and memories with us together. So when we are, for example, going through a tough time in our life years ago, maybe, or when we were younger, and we found this animal, or they kind of found us, and we really needed them in that kind of moment. And our life was so much richer having them there. Think about all of the chapters, all of the time, all of the things that you spent together, and then think about when they transitioned, if they did, what had shifted in your life. Because usually it's they were in your life for a specific kind of chapter. And when this chapter was coming to a close, coming to an end, that's when they weren't necessary to be in your life anymore. So, more about animals being connected to us. If you're unhappy, they're unhappy sometimes. If they're emotionally kind of connected to you in that kind of way. If you're stressed out, if you have anxiety kind of going on, they're feeling that too. They might not be crying on the floor next to you like you are. I mean, a lot of times I feel that our animals, as we know, when we're upset, they're kind of right next to us. And this is a really kind of sweet gesture and behavior, but sometimes I have to bring to attention that, hey, we really need to work on ourselves or make ourselves okay so that your animal's okay, because you don't want your animal kind of feeling that pain. I recently had a pet reading with someone, and I'm giving you a shout out now, but I'm not going to use your name. And they wanted to make sure that their animal was going to be okay with all the changings and stuff that were happening in their life. And their husband had actually was about to be deployed to somewhere outside of the country. And this person just wanted to make sure that they were going to be okay. Was their dog going to be okay? How is their dog going to be okay? How is their dog going to handle this? And I said, your dog is going to be handling this how you're handling this. If you were super sad and upset, they're going to be kind of feeling that. Why are you sad? I'm sad. I miss him as well. You miss him. I miss him so much too. And just we would be feeding off of each other. So I had to remind the person, make sure that you're going to be okay. Instead of saying, how is my dog going to be? How is my dog going to be? How are you going to be? What are you doing? Or what do you have in plan to distract yourself and make yourself happy as well? But that was super important too. So if you are going through something, your animal, your companion wants you to be the happiest that you can be, wants to help you through it as well. But let's try to, I don't know, yeah, say alert, be mindful for the sake of their kind of feelings or emotions or thoughts and stuff that they have going on. So animals are so connected to us. Let's talk about them being connected to their siblings, to any other animals that we might have going on. I'm going to use my dog for a funny example, and him being connected to my cat. They have been cohabiting together for almost 6 months now, and up until a few days ago, it's not been the happiest days of my life for my cat. I feel that she's either swatting him, growling at him, hissing at him, hiding under the bed, a little bit on edge while he's just wagging his tail and he wants to be super kind of playful and pounce like in front of her and be a really like cute kind of puppy. When I tapped into him not too long ago, I made a YouTube video about this. I connected to, you think that you have a sibling that you love so much and that they're your best friend, and that it's the happiest kind of, not the happiest relationship in the world, because he has a brother dog friend. But you, and his kind of puppy brain, he was like, I got a cat at home. Me and the cat have so much fun. Me and the cat love each other so much. But what's really going on is my cat, if I were to tap into her, it'd be like, hell no. How long is he staying? Get this kind of dog away from me. This has been fun. It's been real, but I've kind of had enough. And so animals, they are connected to intuitive, but they might have their own kind of relationship stuff that they have going on, how they perceive and see other people or their siblings. But what I really want to talk about is animals who kind of are in spirit. When our animals are still living and their sibling passes away, how they feel about this, because I was surprised about this too. And it's most of the time, so much of the time, I actually don't think that I've had a story or an instance where the animal didn't know what was going on. So when we have our sweet baby pet and their sibling transitions, passes away, your pet knows 100% what's going on. What happened, that they went to this place and they went to be in heaven or in spirit, wherever we want to call that. And the reason that they might be moping or sad, or we might be under the impression that they're not sure what's going on, it's just because they miss them. I've heard a lot of animals, they just say, I miss my friend. And while that's heavy, it's not the where did he go? He's never coming back. When is he coming back? What's kind of going on? They're so connected. I almost explain it in spirit guides, and your animals kind of show me that all animals have this antenna and they're connected in that kind of way of like, oh, your antenna just lit up in the spirit world. So you're in spirit. When there is that grieving kind of stage, a couple different blunt things about that. Animals are usually more than happy to be replaced. For some reason, talking about that antenna thing reminds me of 101 Dalmatians as well. They want another animal to experience their happy life, to experience the love that we were able to give them. They are so much okay with this. Sometimes it's please do this right away whenever you're comfortable. If you ever do feel comfortable, that even if it were to be the next day or a year later or however long, most of the time they just want us to be happy and they want another one of their little animal friends to be happy as well. And when animals are in spirit, there's a little bit of ghostly kind of action going on. For a while, I have seen and I feel that animals stick around in spirit as long as and as much as we need them to. So that means that when you're sleeping, your animal passed away, they might still be sleeping in the bed with you. They might still be sleeping at your feet. They might still be walking around your house at night or during the day, walking with you when you're walking your other dogs, or being with you in the car. They're still connected to us so much. And that's not to say that, we don't need them anymore, that they don't come around. That's kind of the another kind of topic where I heard someone, they said that after kind of 5 years, our loved ones, they stop coming around in spirit. That's because we're not grieving them as much anymore. That's really not a whole lot to do with them and more kind of to do with us. We're not super needing our grandma, our parent, or our dog, our cat anymore, or actively thinking or actively hurting about them. So that's why it kind of lessens a little bit. And backtracking, I feel like we're jumping all over the place. Backtracking to the transition kind of side of this, from what I've learned in my readings and my experiences and stuff. When our animal is starting to act like it's their time, they're tired, they have an illness going on, they have a lot of old age kind of symptoms and whatever comes with that, or there was an accident or something, most of the time they are ready whenever we're ready. There usually isn't it's too early, it's kind of too soon. And usually when I'll tell someone, they just feel that something's not right, that there's something kind of missing. So if you could hold off maybe a little bit, it feels like a few weeks or so, a few months or so, that then they'll be super, super ready. That's only happened a few times, one of them recently actually. And most of the time our animals, when we're ready, they're ready. And when they transition, they are holding off a little bit to make sure that we're kind of good and going to be okay. So I want to share the story that happened recently, and I'm a little bit blurry about it because I do black out when I do my readings, but I remember this touching my heart. So someone's animal, we had a pet reading with them, or I had a normal kind of reading. I tapped into their pet, told them that their pet wasn't ready and wanted to hold off a couple of months. I think it was a couple of months. So intuitively, the person agreed. And a couple months later, what happened? It was like somebody came home. I don't know if it was home from college, or I think a child came home and had that kind of like last memory, that last seeing each other. And then while everyone was on the way to the vet, I think maybe the next day, the animal had passed away, like in the back of their car. If that's your story, I'm sorry for butchering it. I just remember the kind of like flashes of that and it touching my heart. But that's one of the examples of wait just a little bit. There's something not quite ready. They're waiting for to see this person because for some reason they might know or hear, catch wind, catch word, catch energy, really, that their favorite person's coming to visit and they want to see them one last time. I have had not lots of, I've had two people, and I don't know why I'm saying this, where I let them know that their pet was ready and months kind of go by and then they kind of make the decision for their pet. And that's perfectly fine too. When I say that your pet's ready, when you're ready and we know it, that doesn't mean to jump the gun and kind of take them somewhere to help them transition. That means kind of just like feel into your heart. Does that feel okay? Because they will wait around for you when you're ready, when everyone's ready, when everything's kind of more peaceful. So heavy kind of thing about this that I want to lighten things up about as well. When our pets transition, just like people, they leave their body and they come jump around us. I have seen so many times the visual of an animal being in the vet room, the vet office with our loved one. We're on the floor, we're doing stuff. Animal's older, they have this kind of going on. When they kind of close their eyes, their spirit body kind of pops out and they start jumping over their owner and licking them. And the owner doesn't know it because we're in that grief kind of stage, but we can sometimes, I don't know, feel and know that they're okay. And that intuitive feeling and knowing that they're okay is probably being able to sense them around you in your room, in the room. So I feel that I covered what I wanted to say about that. Let's talk more about the afterlife. What's going on with animals? After animals transition and they get to where they're going and everything, what I see majority of the time is almost as if their spirit world, their animal heaven, whatever it looks like, is super catered to them. This can be a dog park. This can be a park with no dogs because they didn't love dogs. This can be grandma's house. A lot of the time it's this is my kind of dog park looking place with the creek and other dogs. And then this is where I go to sleep at night. And they usually, for some reason, when I'm connecting to them, I have a theory about this. They got somewhere that they are. And when we're needing them, we're talking about them, we're thinking about them, they have no problem at all manifesting kind of right behind us, right next to us, and especially super in dreams. So when we are talking about our animal out loud in our head, same with people in spirit, they can hear us. And especially so when we say, hey, really need you or really like to see you in my dreams tonight, tomorrow, whenever. Animals have a lot more free will than people in spirit when it comes to this. I found out what I mean by this is sometimes our loved ones, especially my mom, they will have to work with a little bit of our subconscious. So this is why our loved ones, if they come through in our dreams, they might be looking a certain kind of way, saying something that's a little bit not love and light or not what they're super kind of meaning, because our dreams are so much connected to our subconscious. And wow, that's really them, our loved one in spirit. Sometimes it's a little bit of like, but this subconsciously is how they're showing up today. So you could still kind of learn the lesson. So you can be working through this. When my mom transitioned, she was sickly a lot of times. She's in the hospital bed. And it was like me repeating this again and again and again to get me through that grief stage kind of things. My mom transitioned of cancer. But when our animals are in our dreams, they don't really have to go through the subconscious kind of thing. There might be a little bit, but usually it's, hey, your animal has no problem just like coming right through, where people might have to work with when we're feeling good, when we're feeling happy. Sometimes they can come right through as well. So that's the things that I can think of off the top of my head about pet kind of readings, connecting to your animals, and everything like that. Hopefully, this brought a little bit of peace and stuff for you. And if you wanted to do any kind of pet readings with me, you can feel free, go to my website. My readings are for pets, 30 minutes long, over the phone or over Zoom. And I like this option for sometimes if we have a pet who's missing, I can help us. This is what it looks like. This is what I'm seeing. This is where they are. Or if they have any kind of like medical stuff going on, I can help feel into that for you. Of kidneys kind of stuff is a hot area. Adding some more coconut oil or this whatever kind of food supplement stuff is going to help them, or they're ready to transition, or they're not ready to transition, or they're dehydrated. That's useful. And then, like I said, for pets who are in spirit, it's really healing to hear that they're okay and that they had a happy life and all that kind of like happy memories. So remember that you are also connected to your pet. Any kind of hunches you have about their behavior, what's going on with them, you're probably absolutely right. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on any of my social medias or my email. Everything is just Jamie.d.intuitive. My email is jamie.d.intuitive@gmail.com. My website is Jamie.d.intuitive, where you can read more about booking a pet reading. And I hope that this made some of us feel better and happy. And yeah, have a good rest of your day or night, whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing it.